Hello, I'm Sergeant Ann Justice of the Phoenix Police Department Public Affairs Bureau. The information, audio, and pictures you are about to see are intended to provide details, as we currently understand them, of a death which occurred after officers had contact with a man in the area of 28th Street north of Union Hills on August 18, 2020, at about 1:45 p.m. The officers involved in this incident work as school resource officers. School resource officers are not assigned a body-worn camera due to the sensitive nature of their work in schools with minor children. Nonetheless, the Phoenix Police Department has a commitment to provide these videos out of transparency. The following video does not have body-worn camera video and no video capture of the event. An elementary school employee observed a man, later identified as 42-year-old Jeremiah Hand, walking around the school parking lot and walking into parked cars. No kids were on campus, but the school was occupied by staff and the school resource officer. There were several cars in the parking lot. When the employee asked Mr. Hand to leave, the man did not respond or even acknowledge the employee. The employee went inside the school and asked for the assistance from the school resource officer, who then attempted to contact Mr. Hand. The officer asked Mr. Hand to leave the property. However, she said he appeared to have an altered or impaired mental state, failing to even notice her. Mr. Hand wandered off the school property and into the roadway without looking, nearly being struck by a vehicle. At this point, the officer radioed dispatch, asking for additional officers in an effort to safely approach Mr. Hand.
262, Sam.
262, Sam.
We another unit for intoxicated male. He keeps walking in and out of the street and he won't follow my directions. I'm at
Okay, is there another unit for Siesta?
The officer was able to guide Mr. Hand out of the roadway and into a front yard of a residential home. He then walked into several objects, falling down more than once. Concerned for the well-being of the man, the officer pulled him to a seated position to keep him safe until the Phoenix Fire Department could respond to evaluate him. While Mr. Hand was not under arrest, the officer placed handcuffs on him to prevent him from standing up and falling again. A second school resource officer arrived, and the officers moved the handcuffs to the front of the man's body, positioning him on his side.
266, Sam.
Okay.
Give you that fire, respond to it. Check out something for us. He's not answering my questions.
Sure.
He is breathing and everything. He's just not responding to me.
While waiting for fire personnel, Mr. Hand began to lose consciousness. The Phoenix Fire Department arrived and began treating Mr. Hand. During their evaluation, they determined Mr. Hand had a lethal core body temperature of 108 degrees. A normal core body temperature is around 98.6 degrees. Mr. Hand was transported to the hospital where he was eventually pronounced deceased. The cause of death will be determined by the Office of the Medical Examiner. The two officers involved in this critical incident are assigned to the Black Mountain Precinct as school resource officers. The first officer to respond has 4 years of service, and the other officer has 16 years of service with the Phoenix Police Department. An internal investigation by the Professional Standards Bureau into this incident is currently underway. Conclusions about whether the actions of the officers are consistent with department policy and the law will not be made until all facts are known and the investigation is complete.
This video was intended to inform and educate the public about a critical incident in our community. You can learn about the Phoenix Police Department's transparency policy on our website.